Hello, and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness. I'm Angela Fischetti. So today we're going to do a full workout, and I do have to let you know right from the top that this is going to be geared a little bit more to those who are going more toward the intermediate level. This is not for absolute beginners, folks. So this one is also inspired by my recent move. There was a couple of other moves that, besides the push-pull, that I noticed I was doing a lot when I was moving, which was spine flexion and spine extension. So what is it? It's a forward bend and a back bend. Now, why would I ever be back bending? Well, you know, when you're gonna drag and pull something, well, you're kind of doing a back bend, right? You're going into some amount of spine extension. So therefore, that's the theme of the day. Now, the accessories we'll be using today will be a sticky yoga mat, a balance pad, a stability ball. Now, right off, I'm going to put here a precautionary measure. These three items are typically made with some latex. So if you have a latex allergy, you want to look for latex-free or non-latex. Just checking my microphone, wasn't sure about that for the moment. Anyhow, so continuing into the other accessories. Also, I should tell you about the ball for the moment, that the ball is 65 centimeters because I'm just a little bit above 5'6". And I will be using weights between 10 to 20 pounds, technically two pairs, a 10-pound pair and a 20-pound pair, and one single 15-pound weight. Continuing with medical disclaimers, precautionary measures, whatever you want to call them. So if you have any back spine issue, anything that you've been told not to forward flex the spine, so this typically includes osteoporosis and a postural deviation called hyperkyphosis, which is kind of the hunched appearance. If you're medicated or not for hypertension, if you have vertigo or GERD. For these three issues, please be careful of doing this. That's the forward flexion of the cervical spine. Also avoid this kind of forward head projection as well. Conversely, if you've ever had a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, or a stroke, be careful with the big chin lift and dropping back when you're in the back extension. We also, yes, vestibular challenges. Those of you with balance issues, folks, really ought not to be working out on your own. Have somebody with you, please. If you have knee issues, also, now with knee issues, I'm going to do something down on my knees. You don't have to. The exercise, you can stand up so you can avoid the knee issues that way. Also, if you have any rotator cuff muscle issues or pinched nerve at the neck. And finally, I will list amongst these chronic concerns that I'm mentioning would be carpal tunnel syndrome. So you want to avoid this wrist position. No matter the position of the arm and forearm, it has to do with wrist extension that you should avoid. Now, having said all of this, if you have any chronic issues whatsoever, including or not including what I just listed, then I invite you to preview the video before participating in it and look for what you can do. And if you're not sure, then you can invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well and then help you make an informed decision. Now for any I like to talk about a little bit about some gentle reminders. So always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to. It's not an invitation to quit though, all right? It's an invitation to take a moment if you have to, take a breath or two, and even if it's just for one more repetition, come back in, and this is how you will get stronger. Also, you want to maintain hydration all throughout the course of the day, but especially when you're training. And unless, of course, you have any kind of kidney or bladder issue and you've been told otherwise, well, you certainly follow that protocol. On the channel, I have a warm-up and a cool-down video. There's just one, you can interchange them. And the reason is because it's advised for those of us who are 55 years and above to warm up for 10 minutes prior to any workout. Within the community tab, you're going to find a rating of perceived exertion chart. precisely that, and we'll call it an RPE chart, which is a subjective 0 through 10 scale, which turns out to be quite accurate. And it is advised for our demographic to work out at an RPE between 3 and 6. Also in the community tab, you're going to find a really cool article I came up with on functional exercises by IDEA. IDEA is the International Dance Exercise and Aerobics Health and Fitness Association. Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful. The reason why this article is there is one of them is because of this definition that they give for functional exercises. I want to read this to you. So it's referred to, or they are referred to as multiplanar movements that require coordination of 2 or more limbs, muscle groups, joints, or areas of the body. And I'm going to add that they are reflected in activities of daily living, henceforth really good for this demographic. So how we're going to approach today is going to be, we're going to do, a set is a group of repetitions, and in this case, 8 to 15 repetitions. And we're going to be focusing, because it's more intermediate, this program today, we're going to be focusing on supersetting, but 3 sets of each exercise. So I have 3 blocks lined up, 2 exercises each, and then 1 standalone, where then we're going to tie in some stretches specific to that, and then take another set with it. But when you're training on your own, you can work out from a vertical fashion and just run through all of the exercises. Now, typically I demonstrate every exercise without any equipment, but it's not for that level, all right? So I will demonstrate, but only a couple of movements of each. I can't guarantee all of them, only because some of them do require the accessory. So I will demonstrate without accessory as much as possible. Let's see what else to tell you. I think that is it. So to begin here, let's talk about the athletic ready stance. So I'm looking down, double checking that my toes are in the same line as each other, lining up ankles to knees to the inside of this high pelvic bone, the iliac crest. Don't turn the fingers in, just point straight down. And then I'm going to turn to the side. Want to make sure you can still see a little of the sneakers. Yeah. So what we want to avoid is an anterior pelvic tilt. It's kind of like when the dancer is going to twerking. We want to avoid that and just come into gentle, modest posterior pelvic tilt, also known as a pelvic tuck. So that's your athletic ready stance. Now for the first exercise, we're going to do an RDL, Romanian deadlift, followed by a lat pull down. So I'm going to stand with the feet wider than the hips, and I'm going to demonstrate without the weight. And notice I am definitely coming into a forward flexion, hinging from the hip and taking a little more of a posterior pelvic tilt. Not huge though. When I come to stand up, I'm going to demonstrate to the side just one more time, just a reminder of the form. And so it's not a squat, right? There it is, that little tuck. See how small it is. So now I'm going to grab my 20 pounders. And I'm going to stand forward. I'll be changing up the positions I stand in to show you. Chin up. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale on the effort. Tilt. Tuck. Breathing in and out through the nose. I have the toes lifted inside the shoes. So I'm rising up from the heels, really driving the work into that posterior chain that extends your side. Getting into those gluteal muscles. You want to pause at the peak of the contraction. The peak is right here. And I'm going to go for one more. I'm going to go for another one. And pause. Now, lat pull down. So I do this standing all the time, but I like to level up and change things around, right? So I'm going to use my balance pad. Not really using it for balance, but I am using it for cushion. 10-pound weights. And coming down. Now, I'm going to show you first without any resistance. I'm going to lean back, so there's some back extension. And I'm focusing on moving the scapulae, the shoulder blades, so they're kind of rotating there, okay? So bring up the weight and exhale. I get quiet when I work. 2 more. And slowly down. Back to the 20-pounders. Romanian deadlifts. The chin is up, especially for hypertension, vertigo, and GERD, right? Let's go for 2 more. And down to lat pull down, but I'm coming on my knees. Just always double check that your weights are not going to roll off the surface. And this is the one, pinch nerve, rotator cuff needs to be careful. Let's go for 1 more. Easy on the down. Okay, I'm going to take that 3rd round to the side here. Romanian deadlift. We want the cervical spine of the neck to duplicate the position of the lumbar spine at the low back, because they both are in a natural lordotic curve. That's why I don't want the head hanging down while we're trying to do that small little back extension. Last one. Lat pull down standing or on the knees. Now on the knees does remove stabilizing muscles. We don't want to do we don't want to work out like that on a regular basis. It's just a little change, that's all I'm doing. Because the body adapts so easily. Last one. Okay, here we go. Okay, the next round is a bent over, I should say, back row with a pronation and supination. You'll see what I'm talking about. And we're going to do this with abdominal work on the ball. So we're using the ball for both. The abdominal work is going to be approached just a little differently. We're going to be coming from a spine extension to neutral. That return to neutral is a spine flexion. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let me grab my 15-pounder and then the ball. Come here, baby. There we go. All right. So split stance. I'll take it a little bit on a diagonal here for you. Just turn the ball a little bit. Okay. Belly button is in. And I'm starting in a pronated position. I supinate. So pronate is face down, supinate is face up. So you can use your ball sometimes instead of a bench. Going for one more. And then I'm going to bring the ball around. I'm only doing this because of the camera. So pronate into supinate. Notice my fingers on the ball are cupped. Belly button is pulled up and in, engaging the transversus abdominis. One more. Yeah, one more. Okay, let's put her over to the side just for the moment. Set the weight down. She likes to roll around a bit. Now, I'm going to grab her here and coming onto the ball, pull it this way a bit. And I'm going to come out. Now, you know what? I'm going to show you something. For those who can't lay back at all, right? So then you can do this upright on the ball. I'm going to bring my feet wider apart because this will help stabilize you a bit. So you can place the hands behind the head, or you can just bring them across the chest, whatever works. And I'm going to lean back. Careful here, right? TIA stroke, none of this stuff. And then exhale. Here's the return to neutral. I'm not curling down. I'm not going further forward. I just took a 5-day workshop with an incredible physical therapist called Eileen Kopsaftis. She was my physical therapist when I broke my wrist. And she talks about how we don't want to shorten the abdominal muscles as we get older. I don't mind using that word, as we become more seasoned in life, whatever feels more comfortable for you, okay? And I do understand that. So we're gonna tie it in now to how you do this on the ball. So I'm in a spine extension. Exhale to neutral. That act is flexion, folks. Abs really flat. We don't drop the hips. Keep them up. You can do hands across the chest. Just careful you don't hurt your neck. Uno más. Okay. And let's grab the weight. That back row. Split stance. One more. Yeah, I feel it. Now you'll find when you use a bench, you can probably go higher in weight. So typically I'm around 20, 21 and a half pounds when I use a bench for this, one arm bent over back row. There's a lot more stabilizing going on here, folks, with the use of the ball. I'm gonna go for one more. Yeah, that talks to me. And back to the ball. From flexion, I should say from extension to flexion. Here we go. You can even bring the arms up. I find I want to go into a little too much of a flexion there. I don't want to curl the spine. I just want to return to neutral. So pick a spot on the ceiling, hit that spot with your eye gaze. We call that in yoga your drashti, a point upon which to focus. Nice and flat. One more. And last round here. And why not? I'm going to start on this side. What the heck? Okay. Go a little closer. Try not to overly rotate that torso, right? So I don't want to lift and do this kind of thing. It's a different movement. Oh man, one more. Whew. Yeehaw. Pronation and supination. One more. Oh, jeez, okay. I'm gonna get rid of the ball for the moment. I'm gonna keep the 15 for the next, well, I'll put it down because I do want to demonstrate something. So the next exercise, the next round will be good mornings with plank. However, from the plank, we're gonna go into what I call a prone face down hip flexion exercise using the ball, but you can remain in the plank if you want. So with good mornings, I'm gonna bring the feet apart. It's a relatively new exercise for me. So I'm putting the hands behind the head. Now, I don't want to confuse this with a Romanian deadlift. So I'm looking down, but I'm not dropping the head down. Pull the tail out. Exhale when I come up. I just come up straight. I don't take that additional posterior pelvic tilt. And another one. And you might feel a bit of a stretch into the gluteal hamstring attachment area. And there it is. So I'm gonna work with 15. Because this is a little tender area for me, I might opt, maybe in the last set, to just bring it down to no weight. We'll see how I feel. All right, I want you to see the feet. Okay. Make sure I don't hit the ball. All right, now the weight is behind is obviously up on my posterior shoulders. The back of the shoulder is not resting on my cervical spine. Please don't let that happen. Pull out. Belly button is up and in. Two more. Woo. Now, when I go into the plank here, you can choose to do it without the ball, folks, if that's what you prefer. That's okay as well. So I'm gonna go all the way back here because I want you to see something. I need some space. Okay. So here's your plank. Don't let the legs kind of just drop down. Give yourself some energy there and let those gluteals work. Then I'm going to walk out a little further. Now I want to see where I'm at here. Yep. And I'm going to lift up on my knees and then I'm going to pull in and out. Push the ground away. Strong arms. Belly button way up and in. Look out in front a bit. Chin is lifted. We already discussed the contraindications at the beginning. It's your responsibility to retain that information, folks. You can always go back and replay it. A couple more. And I'm going we start to walk back, lower down. Oh, you can really go for it, but it's a superset, so I'm not going to. All right, let's grab that 15-pounder. Okay, here we go, behind the posterior shoulder, upper shoulder area. Try not to round the back. Try not to overly arch it. Whew. Really trying to pull the tail way out. Last one. Watch the head. Grabbing the ball again. Here we go. So you can take your plank, you can hold here, energizing the arms and the legs, or keep going where the ball comes more toward the knees. Keeping the hips up, and here we go. So it's exhale as I pull in, poking the tail up. Stretch the fingers wide apart. Let them fan out. No dropping down to the ground. Push it away. And slowly come back. Final round here. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep the weight. Okay. All right. Here we go. And pull it out. Oof, wow. 2 more. Man, am I in there. Oh, wow. Woo, watch the head. Okay, ball time. Plank into the prone hip flexion. I'm going to hold the plank for a few moments, energize everything, then I'm going to walk out onto the knees and pull. Notice I don't drop the head straight down. It's like you're piking with a P, as in Peter. Two more. One more. I'm going to stay looking out in front. I'm going to hold, 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 hold. Oh, so much transverse abdominis. And gently release. Okay, now. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to stay here because I'm going to use the ball here. I'm calling this a fitness version of the scorpion pose. You'll see why. Because we're going to do it, obviously, in repetitions. So, here we go. Let me just go back a little further for this one. So, it's as if I'm going to approach the plank. However, I'm going to lower down onto the forearms. So, the wrists, elbows, and shoulders are in the same line. The chin is lifted. Come a little forward. Let me see what you can see. Yeah, okay. So, and we're gonna take the hips up and down. Let me go back just a little bit here. And as you can see, the gluteals are working. Lower back. Arms. Hamstrings. Spinal erectors. And I'm going to come back up to a plank for the moment. The further forward you are on the ball, the more abdominal work you get when you do this kind of work. Now I'm just going to show you a couple quick stretches here before we do. We're just going to do one more set of this exercise. So I just have to watch my microphone. And here we go. You can also do it with legs wider apart, just to experiment with how it feels across your back. And then we'll take the ball. And let's do that. But that was just obviously a spine flexion, right? So let's get on the ball and do some fun spine extension. You can straighten the legs out if you want. You can keep your knees bent. Totally up to you. Shall we try fitness scorpion one more time? I say yes. You got to strengthen those gluteals. That whole posterior chain. Here we go. So what I'm trying to think here, not trying to think, what I'm thinking and trying to do is resisting dropping down into the front shoulders. Biceps are absolutely isometrically working here. And relax it. And coming back down. Let's show you a little lateral flexion on the ball as well. So I'm going to come to the side. Bringing my leg out. I want to line up ankle to knee to the hip joint. Draping over the ball. And arm up and over. Make sure I don't hit anything. And then I open it out. Turning toward the ball. And let's bring it over to the other side. All right. Ankle, knee, hip. Turning toward the ball. And folks, that's what I have for you today here on Boomerang Beyond Wellness. And I would surely appreciate it that if you find this content to be of some value to you, to please subscribe to the channel. Doing my best to reach those who are timid about approaching strength training, maybe because of health issues or because they've gotten injured in the past. And just trying to get this channel out there as much as possible. I could surely appreciate your help with sharing the video, perhaps giving it a kind comment, or hitting that notification bell to be reminded when I post some new content. Also, if you're interested in working with me privately, I work remotely virtually as a senior fitness consultant, as a personal trainer, and also for Hatha Yoga. Opposite end of the spectrum, I do prenatal yoga, and if you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, Lauderdale Lakes more specifically, I am a licensed massage therapist, so I do go obviously on site, and I love to do deep tissue massage. I'm the type who jumps up on the table to stretch out and stuff, and also Swedish, and also, my specialties are geriatric massage, and I do also, for those near the end of their lives, palliative care massage. So anyhow, until next time, please stay well, eat your greens, eat your beans, and be hydrated. Thanks so much. Thanks for the support.